Hello everyone, my name is Ozzymitsu and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to sit down and talk to you guys about my unpopular opinions in Pokemon. Now I made this video a while ago but I wasn't happy with the end result, and my opinion on it is if you are not happy with the overall quality of a video or whatever you've created, there's no point in posting it for the world to see, because if you're not happy with it, how can you expect someone else to enjoy that, if that makes sense? So I just scrapped it. However, I was then inspired to make this video again due to a couple of reasons. One of them being that I realised that this is a video that I've always wanted to make, and I wanted to make sure that I conveyed all my thoughts coherently and accurately as possible. And I felt like my last video that I made that you guys didn't see, I touched upon some points but not to the extent that I wanted to, so I would be very vague, and I thought I need to explain that in a bit more detail. And secondly, I wanted to jump on the bandwagon because if you have Twitter, you will know that there's a trend going on that people are discussing their unpopular opinions, be that to do with Pokemon or relationships, whatever, it can be anything. And something that bugs me, just a side note, is that people post under this unpopular opinions thread, but then they post a really popular opinion and get loads of likes and retweets, and I'm like, I've stuck by the rules and I've posted a genuinely unpopular opinion because everyone tells me how wrong I am, and then I get like 4 likes. Where are my likes and retweets? Come on, man. But I guess it's true what they say, you just regurgitate whatever you can on Twitter to get the clout, as they call it. I think that's what the kids are calling it nowadays. Honestly, I'm 26 years old and I can't keep up with what the kids are saying. Your slang is just so fast paced and some of it doesn't make sense. It's a sign that I'm possibly a bit too old to understand it. Yeah. Anyway, we're getting sidetracked. I've got a few notes that I've written down so that I don't forget everything that I want to discuss. The last time I did this, I kind of made the mistake of doing a full-on script and I struggled to sort of memorize the lines that I had written, so I've got a few bullet points here but I can't see them, so I'm going to put my glasses on. That's better. That's actually a lot better. I don't know why. Also, another side note before we start this video, I hate wearing my glasses in videos, but I've got to get over it because I can't see the screen otherwise, so there you go. Anyway, enough babbling, let's get this video underway. Okay, we're going to get the first unpopular opinion out of the way so that you guys can laugh at me in the comment section. But I actually really like Aromatisse. I know that everyone hates this Pokemon because they think it's so ugly, or they think, you know, the design, they just can't get behind it. I personally really love this design, and I guess it's true what they say, someone's got to love it, so I don't mind taking one for the team for this particular Pokemon, because Spritzee and its evolution Aromatisse are amongst my favourite Pokemon of all time, and my love for them stemmed originally when I saw Valerie battle with a Spritzee, and it actually inspired me to breed one of my own. So I did, I got a perfect IV one, except in speed, because I wanted to use it in Trick Room. But I wasn't having much success with it, unfortunately. I mean, it did okay, but there was something missing. So what I did was, in the end, I decided to evolve it into an Aromatisse, and honestly, it did the job so well. Like, my friends would battle my Aromatisse and hate the way that I would battle because I was just so annoying. I would set up Trick Room, disable any super effective hits that may be coming my way, set up Light Screen, Reflect, all those shenanigans. So it would take a hot minute to take down my Aromatisse. And I just battled with it so much and had so much success that I really bonded with Aromatisse, and that's one of the main reasons that I really like this Pokemon, but not the only reason. Another reason that I like Aromatisse is it appears to be based on plague doctors, and I think that's such a fantastic concept. You know, plague doctors who use various perfumes in those sort of masks to drown out the plague. That concept in itself is just amazing, and the fact that Game Freak have put that in a Pokemon form, like however they've managed to do it, I thought they did it really well. And I know a lot of people disagree and think that it could have been done a lot better, but for me personally, I feel like it's captured so many different sort of aspects of what they were going for, so it was very difficult to please everyone because, of course, according to its origins, it also can be based on a flamenco dancer, so they've meshed all these little ideas into one ball and I personally really like where they went with the design, and it gets a thumbs up from me. Another one of my unpopular opinions is something that I feel like I've mentioned so much on the channel, so apologies if you've watched my content in the past and you feel like I'm a broken record, but this is for anyone who's new to the channel. You probably don't know anything about me. I really adore the black and white anime. Originally, I didn't think that this was an unpopular opinion, but once I got into PokeTubing, I realised that the predominant opinion is that the Generation 5 anime wasn't as strong as the others, and everyone hated on it for various different reasons. All valid, you know, I can completely accept people's opinion on the matter, but it did increasingly make me feel very isolated in this opinion, and I thought, am I the only one who liked this anime? So as I got more and more involved in the community, there were some people who agreed with me, and you know, we bonded over that, discussed what we loved. And for me personally, it was kind of, again, I'm not going to go into too much detail about why I love the black and white anime, but if you are interested, I did make a video a couple of years ago about the reasonings for why I love this season of the anime so much, and I'll place a link to that in the description below, and it'll also be on the iCard, so you can click on that in your own time, or you can watch it now and come back. But I did make a video explaining in detail as to why I love the black and white anime so much. But just to give you a bit of background, I was going through a very tough time and I wanted something to watch to sort of take my mind off all my troubles. And I came across the black and white anime, which is how I got hooked. And there were a number of different sort of reasons as to why I got hooked. And one of the main reasons is I loved the characters in the black and white anime. I thought Iris and Silent were fantastic companions for Ash. You know, on the one hand we had Silent, who was seen as a good cop, who would really reinforce positive sort of emotions towards Ash. Whenever he messed up, he would be like, no, you know what, don't worry about it, you can do it. And then we had the bad cop Iris, which is why a lot of people found her annoying, where she'd call him a little kid. But it was always coming from a good place, because she knew that the attention he was getting from Silent, that it wouldn't mesh well if she was also positive, because she didn't want Ash to make the same mistakes that she did growing up. Because there was a time in Opaloosa City where she had a 99 win streak in her hometown, and she lost to Drayden, but she felt like such a failure. She felt like she would never be a Dragon Master, and it made her become more isolated, and she sort of went away from her friends, and she wanted to make sure that Ash didn't make those same mistakes that she made. You know, she was trying to protect him, so you can tell whenever she would call him a little kid, it always came from a good place, which is why I didn't find Iris annoying. In fact, I thought she was such a fantastic companion, and it breaks my heart that some people just really hate on her for no reason, and I'm like, leave my girl Iris alone, man. As for Silent, I really loved his one-liners, like his "it's evaluation time." I just really loved how passionate he was about Pokemon, and sort of explaining why certain Pokemon and their trainers are a good match or if they're not, because he really cared about people and he wanted to make sure they were doing the best that they can. And you can't fault that, you know, he's a really kind-hearted guy. He goes out of his way to help people, and I think that's pretty admirable. I think that a lot of people hate on Silent because they see him as the Brock replacement, but for me, I didn't see him as replacing Brock. In that season of the anime, I accepted that Brock wasn't going to be there. So when we did see Silent being one of Ash's companions, I didn't think, oh, he's doing all the cooking and the cleaning, he's Brock's replacement. I saw Silent as his own character. And if you change your outlook on how you view this season of the anime, you'd kind of see where they were going with it. He wasn't a Brock replacement, but more, he was his own character, he had his own shoes to fill. Then on the other hand, I can see why people can't get rid of that image in their head, because Brock was such a predominant character in most of the seasons of the anime, and for him to just sort of go AWOL, it was kind of very hard for some fans to accept. But you know what? You gotta move on, man. Again, there are so many reasons as to why I love the black and white anime, but I feel like I'm gonna be a broken record. So what I'm gonna do, I've placed a link in the description below for the reasons as to why I love this season of the anime, because I don't know if I can do it justice with my words. I feel like you have to watch it for yourself to sort of appreciate it. But if you watched it and you still disagree, you know, that's completely fine and I respect your opinion. But I'd like to know why you dislike it. Like, not something stupid like, oh, I found all the characters annoying. Like, can you tell me why you found them annoying, maybe? But yeah, that's my second unpopular opinion. I love the black and white anime, and you know what? At one point, I was really embarrassed to admit this, so I would always keep it to myself. But now I'm just like, fork it. I'm gonna say it. I'll shout it from the rooftop. Well, probably won't shout it from the rooftops because everyone's in bed at the moment. So yeah. moving swiftly on, I'm not sure if this is an unpopular opinion, but I feel like in my friendship circle, it is an unpopular opinion, so that's why I think it qualifies to be mentioned in this video. Please don't hate me, but I really dislike Charizard. I used to really hate Charizard, but I don't now. I've realised the reason why I dislike Charizard so much is because of Ash's Charizard in the first season of the anime. And I know that sounds like such a petty reason to hate a Pokemon, well, dislike a Pokemon, but it really stuck by me. My 9-year-old self will never forgive Charizard for costing Ash the Indigo League. Like, I felt like Ash had a really good chance at winning, but unfortunately we'll never know. I just didn't like how cocky it was, and I just didn't like its overall attitude, although I can understand there is like a little theory that's floating around the interwebs that Charizard, the reason he was acting this way was because the badges that Ash had at the time weren't well earned. Like, Misty just gave him one because she felt sorry for him. Same with Brock. And then one of the badges, I think it was Sabrina's, like, he made her laugh and he got a badge. I thought that was pretty stupid. So maybe Charizard just didn't respect Ash. That's probably the only reason I can sort of think of as to why Charizard acted this way. But yeah, Charizard was a grasshole, and that's why I don't like Charizard. It feels like this video is full of pro Generation 5 propaganda, but these are my opinions, so obviously I'm going to be a little bit biased. I don't think it's an unpopular opinion to say that you love Generation 5. I feel like there's a shift now where once upon a time, yes, everyone hated on Generation 5, but they gave it a few years. Since Sun and Moon have been released and everyone enjoyed them or not enjoyed them, we've gotten used to Generation 7. I feel like a lot of people have grown to love Generation 5 or appreciate what they were going for. And just a side note, this is not an unpopular opinion, but I feel like I need to get this out in video form. I feel like there's going to be a shift where now the predominant opinion is that Generation 7 wasn't a strong generation. A lot of people hate on the Sun and Moon games, and especially Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. I, for one, really love both installments of the Generation 7 games, excluding Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. And I feel like there's going to be a shift. Once Generation 8's out, or maybe Generation 9, I feel like people are going to look back at Generation 7 and realise how revolutionary this generation was for the franchise. In the mid-generation, we had Pokemon being released. Like, we've never had that before. Even legendary Pokemon having the ability to evolve, like, that was never seen before, you know, with Cosmoem into Lunala or Solgaleo. Like, we've never had that before. Equally, we've never had trials before. You know, this is the first time they sort of changed up the formula, and I feel like it was a massive risk which has paid off in the long run, but a lot of people probably don't see that now. So I feel like there's going to be a shift where people are going to realise that Gen 7 has revolutionised the franchise as a whole. And maybe that is an unpopular opinion, so you know what, we'll keep that in the video. Let's pretend that I scripted that and that was part of the video. I don't improvise. Anyway, back to Generation 5. So this one's just going to be loads of bunched up opinions put together because I didn't want the video to be too long, because I don't want to waste too much of your time. I know you guys are busy folk. So I really love Unfezant, I really love Emboar, I really love all these Pokemon that people tend to hate on, like Vanillish, Vanillite, what have you. I just find them all really adorable. The main reason why I love Emboar is because Bianca's Emboar was such a badass. I really like Bianca's character, which is probably another unpopular opinion. I just thought it was a very strong Pokemon, and a lot of people hate Emboar mainly because it's a fire fighting type, and I just think that is such a pathetic reason to hate on a Pokemon. As for Unfezant, I know that this is an unpopular opinion, but in my opinion, it is the best regional bird. Like, I just find it adorable. Mainly the male one I find really, like, the design I really dig. The female one, not so much. But I really started liking Unfezant because of the black and white anime when Ash battled one against Skylar and they had that amazing air battle. Honestly, that's probably one of my favourite Pokemon battles of all time. And again, that's probably another unpopular opinion because no one really remembers that. But it was basically just to give you the lowdown. Skylar sort of premeditated how the results for any match would go, so she would base them on type matchups. So if you had an electric type, she'd be like, yeah, you win, here's your badge. Silent and Ash had some grievances with this and said, this is not how a gym should be run. Let's give you a real battle so you can sort of decide for yourself that this is the way you should determine someone's skill, not by type matchups, because that doesn't prove anything. You know, it's kind of like, if you think about it, in a real life situation, a Venusaur would technically lose to a Charizard, right? But then, when you really think about it, like a Venusaur could hold, you know, like a hidden, it could have hidden power rock, which is super effective on Charizard. So technically, does type matchup, do they really matter? Well, yeah, a little bit, but it's not the only deciding factor of who will win a battle. So I felt like that episode was very powerful, and it really made me bond with Ash's Unpheasant. Well, it was a Tranquil at the time, but when it evolved into Unpheasant and learned Aerial Ace, oh my god, like, it was just a fantastic episode. Another unpopular opinion is that I'm completely fine with the Galastar's final Evos to remain pure types, like Water, Grass and Fire. I see a lot of people saying that they really want dual types of this combination or this combination, like a certain combination that we haven't seen before. And whilst I think that would be pretty cool, I'm completely fine with having just a single type. And I feel like this is unpopular because I don't think I've seen anyone say this before. And I mean, if you agree, let me know in the comment section below, because I'd really love to know if you guys would be completely fine with that. I honestly think it'd be a nice break from, because in Generation 5 we had, you know, Ember with the fire fighting sort of typing, which is fine, that was so many generations ago. And then we had Generation 6 where all of the final Evos were dual typed, and then in Alola we had the same where they were all dual typed. So I feel like we could have a break from that. Let's go all Hoenn and you know, have pure typings for these Pokemon. I think that would be pretty cool if you ask me. So yeah, that is an unpopular opinion that I'm going to add for this video. Just a final unpopular opinion. In my opinion, I feel like Generation 6 is the most slept on generation in Pokemon ever. I see so many people hate on Generation 6, which obviously is fine. If you don't like the generation, that's absolutely fine. You're entitled to that opinion. But I just feel like a lot of people don't see how amazing this generation was. Honestly, like, it's one of my favorite generations ever, because it was just, I love the Kalos region. I think it's so beautiful. Like, a lot of the Pokemon designs, although there were very few of them, the designs that they had were all pretty strong. Like, I think I love a lot of the Kalos Pokedex. I think there's only probably 1 or 2 Pokemon that I probably dislike, and not even that much. But other than that, I thought they were all solid designs. And a lot of people complain that X and Y were really easy games, but then you could just turn the experience share off. Like, if you're going to complain that the game isn't hard, like, that's not a valid reason, in my opinion, to hate on a game. Like, difficulty doesn't determine how good a game is. Like, a game could be the easiest game that you've played ever, and it could be the best game that you've played. Like, difficulty doesn't mean, like, just because Ultra Necrozma, for example, was a very tough Pokemon to battle, doesn't necessarily automatically make that battle awesome. I mean, it was awesome, but not because of its difficulty, but because of the music and what have you. And same with Generation 6, like, it had such a great soundtrack, for example. It brought so many new dynamics to the Pokemon franchise. For example, Mega Evolutions, I thought that was a fantastic sort of addition. And let's be honest, that's probably one of the most popular sort of additions ever. And Generation 6 brought us that. How awesome is that? I just feel like the rivals in Generation 6, although there were quite a few of them and you can't bond with them as much as just one, I felt like they were friends on a journey with me, and it was such a powerful journey that we took together. We grew with each other, we got better with each other, we improved, and honestly, the sort of friendship that we had, even though obviously it's not real, I felt like it was real. Like, I felt like I was part of this group, and it was just so powerful, which is why I love Generation 6. Again, like I said earlier, if you hate Generation 6, that's completely fine, but come on, look at its positives. It wasn't all bad. So those are some of my unpopular opinions in Pokemon. Did you agree with any, or did you disagree? Because they are unpopular for a reason. And why don't you leave some of your unpopular opinions about Pokemon in the comment section below, because I'd love to hear what sort of opinions you have that no one agrees with, because honestly I can relate. So yeah, let me know. I'll have a lot of fun reading those comments. But if you did enjoy this video, please leave it a thumbs up, because that does help me out, as well as subscribing to my channel so you never miss a video from me. And with all of that being said, I'll see you whenever I upload next.